her in plot 58 of the graveyard that stands next to his home on Vallis Road in Frome if she didn't do as he wanted. Police believe there may be other victims who never came forward.
Clearly, in any inquiry, there comes a time where you do have to draw a line in terms of seeking out further witnesses, and it may be possible that there are other victims out there.
It took the jury 12 hours to give their verdicts. Holyoake was cleared of 3 sex attacks, but was found guilty of attempted rape, 4 indecent assaults, drugging his victims and keeping them in his home against their will. Judge Carol Hagan said she regarded Holyoake as a very dangerous man. He'll be sentenced in December after being assessed by a psychiatrist. Emma James, ITV West News, Bristol Crown Court.
And still to come here on ITV West News.
Beyond belief, the cruelty inflicted on this little kitten.
The rugby club on the up and up.
Oh, creatures of our God and King.
Singing the praises of the chorister with one of the best voices in Britain. Now, tornadoes are normally associated with the United States, but residents of one Dorset village are today counting the cost after one decided to pay them a visit. No one was hurt in the incident, but residents living near Motcombe, outside of Gillingham, are now looking at insurance claims totalling thousands of pounds. Dominic Velitis reports.
Although rare, tornadoes do occasionally make an appearance in the West Country. The one that visited this isolated row of houses near Gillingham in Dorset yesterday afternoon certainly left its mark. The damage it caused was severe. This pile of rubble was once a chimney. Luckily, no one was around at the time.
If I'd come back sort of like 15 minutes before, because I probably would have actually hit the storm. And it could have been me or the dogs in the backyard at that particular time.
Damage was also caused to the roofs of several properties. Garden furniture was tossed around. Even the insides of residents' homes now bear the scars of what happened here. The destructive force of this mini tornado turned everyday household objects into lethal missiles.
We got an aluminium ladder, and that must have travelled 150, 180 yards. I found that this morning, but there was odd slates all across, anything up to 150 yards. Half of slates just dug into the ground. What was good, and there's nobody about when it went through.
It's believed there are around 33 tornadoes in the UK every year. In 1999, this one was captured on camera in Yeovil. Experts believe global warming could lead to more, and that could mean more scenes of destruction, as witnessed near Gillingham yesterday afternoon. Dominic Velitis, ITV West News.
The funeral has taken place of a Wiltshire man who died after falling from a hotel balcony. John Lyon, who was 46 and from Swindon, fell 30 feet from the balcony during a family holiday in Egypt. The accident happened almost 3 weeks ago near the Red Sea resort of Taba. It's still not known how he fell.
Now, it's the end of October and police are targeting youngsters who take the Halloween game of trick-or-treat too far. Reports of unsupervised children terrorising their neighbourhoods have worried police so much they've launched Operation Ghoul, involving teams of officers aiming to catch the culprits in the act. Shopkeepers are adding their support by refusing to sell flour and eggs to under-18s.
Would you like to take one of these, OK? Because what we want you to do is so you can put this up in your door.
Halloween may be seen as a time of fun for children, but for many of the older generation it's a time to dread, as many become victims of the cruel act of egg and flour throwing. Now Avon and Somerset police are taking steps to crack down on the trick-or-treaters who take it too far.
We're going to have patrols out on Sunday night around all the problem areas, just to try to deter it and, and raise awareness amongst any of them that we do see that might be up to mischief. What will happen, is the fact if we do catch them.
It's a high-profile campaign to try and get the message across. These rather frightening masks started a public outcry when they first hit the shops, but they have since been banned in most places. But you wouldn't normally regard these everyday household ingredients in the same category. But come the last day of October, flour and eggs in the wrong hands can become an offensive weapon. The owners of this store in Taunton have put up the posters given to them by the police and are confident this scheme will help.
I think it'll make quite a difference in the long run. In Monkton Heath, as I said, there was quite a lot of old people and we are concerned that they are protected from people throwing things like eggs and flour.
Margaret Mitchell has been a target of Halloween pranks, and it's left her anxious about the coming weekend.
We'd had eggs and flour thrown all up the front door and all the way in our little cubby hole out there.
And the locks have already been put in place to keep out the unwelcome callers.
If you could say something to some of those young people watching, what would you say to them?
You've got to grow old one day.
Corsa Quamer, ITV West News, Taunton.
Now let's see what's coming up on the main headlines here and abroad. Over to Mark Austin and Katie Durham in London.
Coming up on ITV News, police hunt for a sex attacker after a string of horrific attacks in the northwest of England.
And thousands of ballot papers for the US elections go missing in Florida. Is it down to a dirty tricks campaign? All that and much more in the evening news at 6:30.
Dirty tricks in an election, what next, eh? Well, now, the British are meant to be a nation of animal lovers, but when you hear this next story, you'll begin to wonder if that's really true.
Lucky, as he's now called, was rescued after being tortured by a group of children who unbelievably stubbed cigarettes out in his eye. But he's not called Lucky for nothing, and Lisa Knights went to check up on this little kitten's recovery.
Lapping up the attention. Lucky's learning that not all children mean him harm. He was rescued after he was found in a desperate state, dumped near the M4 near Wootton Bassett. His 4 brothers and sisters had been tortured and then drowned. Lucky was the last one, and like his name, fortune intervened, and despite being scarred, he survived.
It's been almost a week since his lucky escape, but you can still see the scarring over his eye where he had cigarettes stubbed out in his face.
He was taken to the animal haven near Wootton Bassett, where the owners nursed him back to health and found him his new home.
Well, they're just horrible kids, you know, kids doing evil things to him. You know, he's a lovely kid and he didn't deserve that at all. He's lovely.
He's still so affectionate. You wouldn't really think he would be, considering what he's been put through. He just likes to be cuddled all the time. But you'd think maybe he'd have gone the other way and he wouldn't want to be handled. And he wants to be handled all the time.
Happily, the damage inflicted on little Lucky isn't permanent. And the vets say with a bit of love and affection, he's going to be just fine.
It's like, I'm so glad to have him that he survived.
I mean, he seems pretty affectionate considering what
Yeah,
he's
and
been
he's just
through.
so cute.
As we left Lucky to settle into his new home along with his new friends, affection was certainly one thing he wouldn't be lacking. Lisa Knights, ITV West News, Swindon.
Well, good luck to Lucky and to that rabbit. Now sport. Some more big games come out this weekend for the region's football and rugby teams. Nigel Turner is here to look ahead to the action. Nigel.
Yes, thank you. Almost a third of the season has gone and all our local football teams are making progress in their respective divisions. There are distinct signs of improvement at both Bristol Rovers and Cheltenham, and in League One, Swindon and Bristol City are both on the fringes of the promotion picture. There's a buoyant mood in the Bristol City camp at the moment. After early season troubles, they're settling down to life under Brian Tinian, and the results are beginning to come together. The loan signing of Tony Dinning, who's expected to make his debut against Colchester tomorrow, is a sign of intent.
We'll have to be on our mettle, you know, but we're on a good run. We've won 5 and drawn 3 out of our last 9 games, which is good. But we've got to continue that form, and there's a lot of confidence within the team. Excellent win at Walsall last week, and we've got to build on that Saturday. Well, I want us to play good football, attacking football, and we're doing that. And if we continue to do that and work hard, then I'm sure we'll be OK.
Meanwhile, Swindon Town's comeback Kings, who overturned a 2-goal deficit to beat Sheffield Wednesday in the week, take on Torquay at the county ground. After such an inspiring finish to that game, Andy King's searching for the solution to the problem of consistency.
If you're capable of doing things like that, then there must be within you. You know, if you haven't got that in your makeup, if you can't find a last lap of 38 seconds in the Olympics, you ain't got it in you. So it must be in there somewhere. What we have to do is we have to find it from the start and start getting consistent results together. That's the challenge.
Last season, Bristol Rovers reached their lowest ebb when they lost 1-0 at Boston and were booed from the field by their fans.
No ball to lie you!
That prompted a change at the top, which ultimately meant survival. Tomorrow they're back at York Street with the club on a much more even keel.
And let's be fair, 18 months ago this club finished second from bottom of this league.
and we're 18 months on and we're fourth, and we've only been together 4 to 5 months, so you've got to be pleased. But yeah, I'm always aware of the supporters and what they've had to put up with their period the last years, and we're still not the end product yet, and yeah, I think we've done well, and I think we'll get better.
Tomorrow's other League Two games see Yeovil at home to Chester and Cheltenham on the A40 to Oxford. And in rugby, it's another big weekend of European action for Bath and Gloucester, who are both up against Irish opposition. But what are the chances of Bristol rejoining them in the game's elite next season? The Shoguns are currently top of National League One, and with another home game this weekend, are doubtless dreaming of future European Cup ties at the Memorial Stadium.
World Cup winning coach Sir Clive Woodward said enjoyment is the key to winning. And despite the Shoguns being put through their paces this week in training, they seem to be enjoying themselves. Something coach Richard Hill believes has helped them to the top of League One.
Even from last year we said that win or lose, on a Monday morning,
Decision tonight. Newry are at home to Cliftonville, while Dungannon Swifts face Lochgall in a local derby at Stangmore Park. Then tomorrow, champions Linfield travel to Clandyboy to take on Ards. Ballymena face Crusaders, while Glentoran play Coleraine. League leaders Portadown have a difficult tie away to Lisburn Distillery, fresh from their 9-0 win over Omagh last week. It was, of course, Gary Hamilton who scored 6 of their goals, but who was the Portadown player who got 2 of the other 3? Well, John Flack can tell us.
While Gary Hamilton took the plaudits last week, not many people outside of Portadown could tell you that Peter McCann got 2 of the other goals in the 9-0 win over Omagh. This week McCann was coaching kids on their Halloween break as part of his work with the Christian group Athletes in Action. He believes that saving souls is more important than goals.
The guys here, the coaches that we have, they're all Christians to sport, and they try to use the tool of sport to connect to the kids, and God being the main focus through the sport, that there's another goal at the end of it. You know, football and sport's not the only thing.
McCann and Hamilton go back a long way, and he believes his striking partner should be given more of a chance in the Northern Ireland team.
He scored 6 goals on Saturday. I think he had 7 chances the whole game, and he's taken 6 of them. He set me up a couple. You know, I don't think many people remember who else scored the goals, but I got a couple there as well.
Do you think he merits a place in the starting lineup, or starting on the first call off the bench in the Northern Ireland setup?
I think he deserves a chance, definitely. You know what I mean? Andy Smith was given a chance last year and stuff, and I think Gary was doing just as well as he was in the league, so why not give Gary a chance? He's been doing this consistently year in, year out, and I think it's maybe a chance now that he gets either started on the bench, or why not give him a run? You know, if things don't work out, they don't work out, but he's a good enough player to play at that level, not a problem, so give the lad a chance, and I'm sure he'll take it without a doubt.
Distillery will be hoping Hamilton doesn't take any chances that fall his way tomorrow, and McCann expects a tough game.
Yeah, Distillery are always a hard game, you know. We're not taking any games lightly. Last year we lost the league by taking games lightly. Whenever we felt we should have won games, we've drawn or lost them. And this year we're not going to take anything for granted. We're going to go out and make sure we do a professional job. But it will be a tough match at Distillery. They beat us at their ground last year, so hopefully we'll be able to get revenge.
It's rugby next, and Ulster face a huge challenge in the Heineken Cup tomorrow when they play Gloucester away from home. The English side have a famously tough set of forwards, a big test for any player, but especially Ulster hooker Nigel Brady in only his 2nd ever European match.
Biggest challenge of your career? I'd have to say so, yes. I mean, looking back, I would say last week the first start in the European Cup for Ulster at home was probably the biggest game of my career to date, and this game's even bigger away to Gloucester with a huge international front row over at Kingsholm. It's going to be a massive challenge, and yeah, to date probably the biggest. Have you noticed?
Yes, best of luck to Ulster. Now in GAA there's a big weekend ahead, starting with tomorrow's Bank of Ireland Casement Cup final between St Patrick's Armagh and Rathmore Belfast. That's followed by Hurling's Mageean Cup final between St Patrick's Maghera and St Mary's Belfast. Then on Sunday, Ulster's footballers take on Connacht in the Railway Cup semi-final at Castlebar. And at Casement Park, Rossa play Ballygalgat in Hurling's Ulster Club Championship final. Now, there's a sell-out kickboxing tournament in Belfast. That's tomorrow night. In fact, the organisers say they could have sold 3 times as many tickets if they'd had them. And it's all because of the Lady Killers. Gary Gillespie explains.
Pretty woman, walking down the street. Pretty woman, the kind I like to meet. Pretty woman.
A teacher, a solicitor, a hairdresser and a postwoman, all with one thing in common.
For them and 20 other women, tomorrow night is fight night.
Mercy.
Tomorrow night, the Pro Kick organisation holds its first all-girl tournament in Belfast, with local post-woman Lydia Braniff topping the bill in a British title fight. Promoter Billy Murray says the sell-out reaction to the show has taken him by surprise.
It's incredible over the last year, the influx of females coming into the gym, not just for the competitive side, but for the fitness and the self-defence. It's been phenomenal. It's outweighed the guys. It's normally like maybe 30% ladies and 70% guys, but I mean it's a total switch around. It's 70% female to 30% male, and now the ladies are saying, if you guys can do it in the ring, we want to do it as well, and we want our own ladies only show.
Co-promoter Adele Robinson admits she had reservations about the all-female fight night, but is now solidly behind the idea.
It's very athletic, and kickboxing, it's the kicks are very artistic, and I know it sounds silly, but in the punches, but I think they need to prove a point. I think years ago girls had to fight against the boys because there was not enough women doing sport, especially kickboxing, but it has changed, and I think they should have a go of it. They don't beat each other silly, you know. It is a sport, and they train hard, so they should let everybody see how they've progressed.
And if the Lady Killers night goes well, it could be the first of many.
I think it's good for them. I think they're all very nervous, and but I think it'll go really well.
Best of luck to the girls indeed. Now, the Belfast Giants are back in action at the Odyssey tomorrow night against the Dundee Stars, and they'll be hoping to repeat the form they showed last week as they crushed another Scottish side, the Edinburgh Capitals, 8-1. Defenceman Todd Kellman has resumed training after breaking a bone in his foot, but is unlikely to play before next weekend at the earliest. And in motorcycling, Jeremy McWilliams was 16th fastest in today's first qualifying session for Sunday's final round of the MotoGP World Championship in Valencia in Spain. He was just 1.6 seconds slower than home hero Sete Gibernau, who was provisionally taking pole position. Finally, don't forget, Gary Gillespie's here with Sport on Saturday. That's tomorrow night just after 5. That's it from me. Have a good weekend.
OK, thank you very much indeed, Claire. Can I just remind you as well, we get an extra hour in bed tomorrow night. The clocks go back. And I'll be back with the local headlines at 10 to 7.
Right now, though, time for the national and international news in London. Good night.
Manhunt. Police search for crazed sex attacker after ferocious assaults on women.
The man has clearly committed a very serious offence on one of the victims today. It's not normal to bite off a person's tongue.
There were 3 attacks in the early hours of this morning in northwest England. Police say they were vicious and brutal.
Also tonight, over to you. Blair signs the EU constitution, but will the British people reject it? Under fire, Blackwatch troops see action before reaching their new base. And found safe and well, the 8-year-old boy who survived a freezing night in Devon Woodland.
Good evening. A nationwide hunt is on tonight for a man responsible for a series of terrifying attacks on women in the northwest of England. Police say the attacks are disturbing by their ferocity. One woman had her tongue bitten off. 2 of the 3 attacks happened in Blackpool in the early hours of this morning. In the most serious, the man enticed a woman into his car and carried out a serious sexual assault. Police believe the same man then followed a 3rd woman down the M6 motorway before ramming her car in Knutsford in Cheshire and trying to abduct her. Our crime correspondent Dan Rivers reports on a crazed attacker.
Deeply shocking, both for their brutality and frequency, the 3 terrifying incidents, all committed within hours of each other earlier today, have now sparked a national manhunt. Police in Blackpool conducting door-to-door inquiries as it became clear they're dealing with a dangerous sexual predator. One attack was particularly grotesque. During the sexual assault, the woman's tongue was bitten off.
The man has clearly committed a very serious offence on one of the victims today. It's not normal to bite off a person's tongue in any assault, so clearly there's a lot of concern there.
The series of attacks began in the early hours of the morning. Sometime between midnight and 3 a.m, a man forced his way into a woman's car on Rigby Road in Blackpool before indecently assaulting her. Then, at around 3 a.m, a second woman was attacked on Levens Road. During the serious sexual assault, the woman's tongue was bitten off. And finally, at about 4:45 this morning, a woman driving southbound on the M6 became aware of a vehicle following her. After pulling off the motorway and into Knutsford town centre, her car was rammed, forcing her to stop. Luckily, she managed to escape.
He's clearly got some problem with women. I suspect, from what's been said, that he may have had some trouble with prostitutes or women in the past, and now he's attacking any woman, and any woman's at risk of him.
The attack started in Blackpool, but the man has a car and has already travelled south. Police are now deeply concerned he may strike again. Dan Rivers, ITV News.
And Geraint Vincent is in Knutsford this evening. Geraint, that must be a very shocked town tonight.
Well, this town was the scene of his last attack. He followed his latest victim from the M6 about 4 or 5 miles from here, down to a country lane, in actual fact, here in Knutsford, where he rammed his car into the back of hers at some speed. Luckily, as we heard in Dan's report, the woman managed to get away unharmed. But this is a sex attacker who's capable of some really horrific levels of violence. So, as you say, a lot of very worried people in Knutsford tonight.
And what more are the police saying about this investigation?
Well, the police quite simply want to catch this man as quickly as possible. They think that he's driving a blue saloon car, and they've got a registration number. It is J648WVX. That's J648WVX. But it ought to be remembered that the last two attacks happened 55, 60 miles apart. There's no reason to think that he's restricted to any particular area. This is a nationwide search.
OK, Geraint Vincent, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
It was the perfect setting. Rome, the Eternal City, hosting a lavish ceremony today to mark the signing of the new EU constitution by its leaders. But was it just a case of style over substance?
Those signed, it's now very much over to you, the voter. Europe's new rule book won't actually come into effect unless it's passed by up to 11 referendums across the continent, one of which, of course, will be here in Britain.
Well, Libby Wiener is in Rome tonight. Libby.
It's hard not to feel the hand of history here in Rome, but it's a very public slap in the face from the voters, which has been preoccupying leaders for much of the day. The fear that though they've signed this document, in fact, the voters of Europe could reject it at a referendum in one or more countries. So what they've signed up to, in fact, might not be a new chapter in European history, but a glorious footnote.
The imperial heart of Rome. It looked like the perfect backdrop for a film, and today it was. These extraordinary images brought to you by Italian cinema legend Franco Zeffirelli. His cast list featured Tony Blair, known to have done some acting in his youth, but today one of 25 leaders signing up to a new constitution for Europe. Italy's Silvio Berlusconi had spared no expense. 30,000 fresh flowers brought in from Holland and outfits designed by fashion guru Valentino for the official Italian hostesses. And all this before the people have had their say.
An extravagant signing ceremony like this, does that help sell it to the British public?
I'm not sure. Look, I mean, this is Italy, and they do things like this, but it's a wonderful setting.
In a hall designed by Michelangelo, few could disagree. But Tony Blair knows that his signature alone won't make this constitution a reality. 11 countries have pledged to hold referenda, and in 4, Denmark, the Czech Republic, Poland and France, a yes vote is by no means guaranteed.
You know, in Denmark there is widespread Euroscepticism. We voted no to the Maastricht Treaty and we could easily vote no again.
In France, President Chirac hopes really that it will be a yes, but it seems that the vote is going to be very tight.
The row over this man, Rocco Buttiglione, rejected by the European Parliament for his outspoken views, may not help convert the sceptics.
Do you accept that all the machinations over the Commission, your failure to produce a Commission that was acceptable to the Parliament, has added to people's fears over whether Europe can work?
I cannot accept that people attack the European institutions because there is lack of transparency and lack of the democratic character. And when we have democracy working, People say that's unstable, that's not serious, that's difficult. Of course it's difficult. Life is complex.
Jack Straw insists he can win a referendum.
There should be a referendum, and one of the reasons why I've always supported it is because I'm confident about it. But I also believe that
You're confident you can win?
Yes, I am. I wouldn't be supporting it if I wasn't confident.
But the government knows other countries could still finish off the constitution before it even gets to a vote in Britain.
Critics say that's exactly what the government wants, but the Prime Minister's advisers insist that he wants to be at the centre of Europe. He wants this constitution signed, and all this pomp and ceremony will amount to something, a Europe that Britain can feel comfortable with Britain no longer having to play a game of catch-up.
Libby Vina, thank you.
Now, they're safely in position tonight, but it's emerged British troops from the Black Watch came under attack en route to their new base in Iraq. The troops and their vehicles had to stop in the desert because of a series of roadside bombs.
And there are questions tonight over the point of their mission. Their new base is surrounded by desert. From Iraq, Julian Mannion reports on the troops' arrival at Camp Dogwood.
24 hours late, but safe and sound, the Black Watch battle group has arrived at their new base of operations 20 miles southwest of Baghdad. The delay was caused by enemy action. Yesterday morning, a roadside bomb exploded near part of the Black Watch convoy, and 3 more unexploded bombs were found. There were no casualties or damage, but some of the low loaders carrying the Warrior armoured vehicles got stuck in the sand. 12 of the Warriors had to be taken off and then driven directly across the desert to their destination. That destination is Camp Dogwood, a former US Army logistics base previously used by Saddam Hussein's Republican Guard. Dogwood is a vast, sprawling, bomb-damaged camp west of the Euphrates River. From there, the Black Watch will patrol some 800 square miles, mainly desert, but also including a populated strip along the river. On the other side, the western boundary of the new British zone is a vast lake. The northern boundary is about 20 miles south of Fallujah. Today in Basra, some 50 men of the Royal Marines were getting ready to head north and reinforce the Black Watch. Their special skills will be used to secure the new base at Camp Dogwood and to help track the enemy. Families of the Black Watch soldiers may be relieved to hear that they will not be deployed in the main Sunni town south of Baghdad, which have been talked about so much in recent days. But the roadside bombs they've encountered demonstrate that insurgents are active in their new zone of responsibility, and there's no doubt that fresh dangers may lie ahead. Julian Mannion, ITV News in Basra.
And in the last few minutes, the Ministry of Defence has confirmed a Black Watch soldier has been killed and 3 others slightly injured in a road accident close to Camp Dogwood. The incident was not related to any insurgent attack.
It's the great untold story of the Iraq War. How many civilians have been killed so far? Now, the respected medical journal The Lancet has put a figure on it, and it's much higher than previous estimates.
Using scientific methods, they've calculated the number to be at least 100,000 since the war began. What's more, experts say that figure is likely to be a conservative estimate. Here's Angus Walker.
Shock and awe, high-precision bombing that military commanders said would keep collateral damage to a minimum. But independent sources estimate 15,000 civilian deaths. The government says we have to be cautious about calculating a figure. But new research suggests it's far higher, closer to 100,000 civilians, mainly women and children, killed through military activity since the invasion last year.
I got numerous individuals on the road. You want me to take those out? Take them out.
This cockpit footage shows a US warplane targeting a group of people on a street in Fallujah earlier this year. Were they civilians? Were they rebels? It's still disputed.
Impact.
What's not disputed is that many were killed.
Oh, dude.
In an effort to get to the truth, American academics have tried to count civilian deaths. Using interviews with nearly 1,000 Iraqi households, they estimate 100,000 killed since March last year.
It's a horrific figure, and it reflects appallingly on the British and American governments, and the campaign group was written to the Prime Minister asking him to withdraw troops from the Fallujah battleground where even more innocent people are going to be killed.
Even if the 100,000 figure was based on some guesswork, the researchers are convinced civilian mortality has risen because of violence. But whatever the actual figure, a large and rising number of civilian deaths undermines one of the key remaining reasons given for going to war, that life for the Iraqi people is better without Saddam. Angus Walker, ITV News, Downing Street.
Still to come on the evening news. Ailing Arafat, the Palestinian leader, arrives in Paris for urgent treatment.
And little boy lost, how 8-year-old Liam survived 12 hours alone in a Devon wood.
But first, it was at the centre of one of the most controversial elections in American history. And now, 4 years later, there are fresh suspicions of dirty tricks being played in Florida. Tens of thousands of ballot papers have gone missing in Florida's Broward County, fiercely anti-Bush last time around. Officials are now sending out new papers, but with just a few days to go, it's feared many who have to post their vote won't be able to before Tuesday. In the latest tracking poll released today, both candidates couldn't be closer. Both Bush and Kerry tied on 47%. From Florida, Robert Moore reports.
On to victory!
Driven on by those agonisingly close polls, both President Bush and Senator Kerry are now campaigning day and night. Both men are struggling to appear confident, but the closer the race, the greater the likelihood this election will again face legal challenges and courtroom battles. And just like last time, one state is in the eye of the storm.
Florida, Florida, Florida. Early voting underway, how it's going.
This was the scene we witnessed at dawn this morning in Miami. Early voting is generating such crowds, people are already waiting up to 3 hours to cast their ballots.
We want to count every vote this time.
Just look at these queues as people struggle to vote. The system here is under colossal pressure and scrutiny, and there is the real risk of a meltdown next week, an extraordinary possibility in the world's most powerful democracy.
I want to know where my ballot is. I mailed it in 3 weeks ago, and I still have not received it.
In some areas, chaos isn't just a possibility, it's already a reality. 60,000 absentee ballots have gone missing here in Miami. Democrats charge Republicans with intimidating voters. Bush supporters reply, they're confronting voter fraud.
We don't want dead people to be able to vote, and we don't want people who've been registered 59 times to be able to vote.
4 years ago, the fiasco was about hanging chads. What's going to be the image this time around?
Computers deleting the information or information not being recorded on the screens.
What a race we have. Nearly every key battleground state is too close to call, and the rhetoric on the campaign trail is relentlessly negative.
John Kerry is the wrong man for the wrong job at the wrong time.
That he believes the buck stops anywhere but with the president.
Election day is Tuesday, but the question is not just who will win, but also who will decide, the voters or the courts. Robert Moore, ITV News, Miami.
Mistakes in Iraq are fueling the bitter rows between Kerry and Bush supporters. Shocking pictures have emerged of how American troops left a room full of explosives undefended because they were overstretched.
Those explosives went missing, and Democrats claim they could now be being used to kill American troops.
John Irvine is in Washington tonight. John.
Thanks, Mark. US presidential campaigns normally concentrate on the here and now, but this one is very different indeed. Much of the focus remains on a furious row over the disappearance of a stash of explosives in Iraq a year and a half ago. These are the images that are delighting the Democrats. American soldiers breaking into a sealed bunker at the base near Baghdad, and inside finding crates of munitions. The pictures undermine President Bush's assertion that the explosives vanished before the war and were therefore never America's responsibility to guard. John Kerry has been using the missing explosives as a metaphor for President Bush's handling of Iraq, both during and post-war. He mentions the issue every day now.
Here's the bottom line. They're not where they're supposed to be. You were warned to guard them. You didn't guard them. They're not secure.
But the man who ruled post-war Iraq has been defending the president who appointed him.
The president has said we need to get to the bottom of it and get to the facts. And I think it's just irresponsible of Senator Kerry to assert that he has reached conclusions when we simply don't have all the facts yet.
For George Bush, there's been another potentially damaging development on Iraq. The FBI is now investigating a claim that Halliburton, the company once managed by Vice President Dick Cheney, was shown favoritism when it was awarded billion-dollar contracts to repair oil fields.
Now it's your turn to die.
2 days before Halloween, for Americans, this is the face of a bogeyman. He purports to be from Al-Qaeda and has made chilling threats.
What took place on September 11th was but the opening salvo of the global war.
For a week now, the CIA have been trying to authenticate the tape. So far, they've failed. But with only days until the presidential election, is the timing of its release just coincidence? The spectre of Al-Qaeda will help President George Bush, who's campaigning on being a strong commander-in-chief. Who's best suited for that job is the dilemma facing undecided voters. They are asking themselves this: can John Kerry be trusted to pull the trigger when needs be? They know George Bush can, but will he hit the right target? Mark.
John Irvine, thank you.
Police officers who shot dead a man in East London after they wrongly believed he was armed have been suspended from duty. Harry Stanley was shot in the hand and head when police mistook a table leg he was carrying for a sawn-off shotgun. The inquest into his death today found that he had been unlawfully killed.
He left the fight for his homeland to fight for his life, but will he ever return? The Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat arrived in Paris today for medical treatment on what doctors say may be leukemia.
He seemed in good spirits as he left the West Bank, and despite his ill health, there appeared to be no sign of a struggle to succeed him. From the West Bank, James Mates reports now on the Mercy mission.
Surrounded by bodyguards, the presidential Mercedes took Arafat to his waiting helicopter, the world watching to see the condition of a man who just 48 hours ago was reported to be close to death. They saw instead a smiling Arafat walking with some help onto the aircraft. For the first time in several days, Palestinians began to believe that this departure from the West Bank may not after all be final.
We hope, first of all, that he will come back in a good health to continue leading the Palestinian people to build his independent state.
Even in his absence from his headquarters here in Ramallah, Arafat remains unchallenged as the sole leader of the Palestinian people. He has handed over no powers, and as yet there is no sign of a struggle going on here to succeed him or even to usurp him. In the Jordanian capital, Amman, he was transferred to a private jet supplied by France's President Chirac for the flight to Paris. What is known about his condition is that he's suffering a severe blood disorder, possibly leukemia. His mother-in-law confirming they need Western doctors to get a proper diagnosis.
He is much better, but you know he needs to. We don't have means to examine him in Palestine.
As his plane headed to Europe, the Israelis confirmed that if he recovers, there is no threat of exile. He will be allowed back.
What is clear right now is that if Arafat wants to return, he will be allowed to do so.
At the end of the 4.5-hour flight, Arafat was taken by stretcher to hospital in Paris, said to be exhausted but conscious and in good spirits, no doubt lifted by the prospect of seeing his 9-year-old daughter for the first time in 3 years. French doctors say they'll have no results or diagnosis for 3 days. It is no exaggeration to say the entire region waits nervously for news. James Mates, ITV News, Jerusalem.
A reminder now of tonight's top national and regional news. A nationwide manhunt is underway after a terrifying series of sex attacks on women last night. One victim had her tongue bitten off.
Rome has hosted a lavish signing ceremony for the new EU constitution. The treaty will have to be passed by referendums in up to 11 countries.
And Blackwatch troops came under attack on their way to their new base in central Iraq. Tonight, the MOD confirmed that one soldier has been killed in a road accident near Camp Dogwood.
And the closing headlines in Northern Ireland. 7 suspects have been arrested by Afghan police, hunting the kidnappers of the County Armagh woman, Annetta Flanagan. Her family are still waiting and hoping that she will be found safe and well. And the Castledurg family are recovering after being held hostage at their home during a bank robbery.
Finally, he'd lost his boots and was missing all night in violent storms. Thankfully today, 8-year-old Liam Sullivan was discovered alive and well, if a little cold, near the spot from where he vanished in Devon.
But the ordeal has raised safety concerns about the camping trip he was on and the supervision he received. Chris Shipp reports on a boy found safe and sound.
Liam Sullivan airlifted to hospital this afternoon. An 8-year-old who'd spent a night in the cold, a boy who was suffering from hypothermia, but lucky to have escaped from his ordeal at all. Lucky because when rescuers came across Liam today, they said they thought he was dead. His bare feet were so blue from the cold. Liam's story began deep in the Devon countryside yesterday, when a game with his friends at this campsite went dramatically wrong. This was where Liam was staying with his friends on his half-term camping trip. Then at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, he decided to leave the camp and play hide and seek. He went off into these woods behind me. He wasn't found for another 24 hours. He couldn't find his way back to camp. He fell into the swollen river. He lost his Wellington boots. 8 years old, on his own, at the end of October, Liam was lost. A major search was underway. Rescue teams feared the worst. But at midday today, this rescuer found him. He was lying on the ground, but able to talk.
He told us about some deer that he'd seen through the night, that he'd heard the police helicopter, but I thought they were looking for burglars. I mean, I was just absolutely thrilled to have found him. I mean, or that we found him. My heart was in my mouth, first of all, because you don't know what sort of condition he's in, but he was amazing. He was talking.
Tonight there are questions about how the youngster was able to stray so far from camp. But today, Liam Sullivan's family was simply overjoyed by the news they dreaded they might not hear. Chris Shipp, ITV News, Devon.
What a relief. That's the evening news. Next over on the ITV News channel, live coverage of John Kerry's speech at West Palm Beach in the key state of Florida.
Later on tonight's news at 10:30, Mutu's shame the costly sacking of a Chelsea star.
Join me for that from your ITV newsrooms across the UK, though, and from us for now. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
ITV National Weather, sponsored by Powergen.
Hello, good evening. Thankfully, it's a drier, brighter weekend, albeit rather cloudy. And tonight, still some of today's rain around, slowly fading away. 1 or 2 sharp bursts in the southwest, though. Misty, murky feel to things. No problems with temperatures, apart from the Western Highlands. Low enough for some touches of ground frost. So if we stay in northern parts tomorrow, it's a misty, murky old start to our Saturday. Any brightness restricted to the west there, and some rain for the east coast. And then by afternoon, things get brighter, they look better. And again, the best of the sunshine there for the west. Now coming down further south, very similar sort of conditions to start the day, misty, murky, rain in the Midlands, stretching across to north as well as mid-Wales, and then by afternoon it's better, it's brighter, but a couple of sharp showers getting into the southeast.
Positive energy from Powergen.
Tonight, the gorgeous Darius performs his latest hit, and Fermanagh Kieran McMenamin drops in for a chat. With Midge Ure and Diane Blood, that's Kelly tonight at 9 on UTV.
Lauren's brain is being overrun by all the amazing articles in Reveal. Find out how Jeff Brazier's coping with life after Jade, how Robbie's new girlfriend finds dating a superstar, plus we show you how to get celeb style at high street prices. Reveal, make room for it. This week only 45p.
It'll be lonely this Christmas without you to hold. It'll be lonely this Christmas, lonely and cold. It'll be cold so.
Dreaming of a new sofa for Christmas? Then DFS can deliver. Order now and we guarantee Christmas delivery on these sofas and a whole lot more. Think Christmas delivery. Think DFS.
There's living and there's living. There's days out and there's days out. There's fashion and there's fashion. There's shopping. And then there's Fairhill shopping. Fairhill, now that's what you call a shopping centre.
We're letting go of 20% at Moors of Coleraine and the White House Portrush. Hurry, 20% off sale is now on.
The Captain Cook's 20% off sale is now on. Things are heating up at Captain Cook's.
Time for a fresh new look. Just color away the years.
With Triple Protection Excellence Cream from L'Oreal.
Absolutely beautiful color that's hassle-free.
Only Excellence has a pre-color serum that cares for and protects your hair. With a cream so rich, it doesn't drip.
Beautiful, sensational, softer than silk. And not a single gray. Assuming you have any. Want to color away the years? Now you can. With Triple Protection Excellence Cream from L'Oreal Paris.
Worldwide #1 for hair color.
Hit it! Too much salt and fat can cause you live fat. So we won't push it, babe. Commit it to change how we eat. Here's a co-op fact. Reducing those grams from our breads. Cause we know that to help you to stay healthy, we've got to keep it low. We'll push it. Salt, we won't push it. In our food. Fat, we won't push it. But push it in our food.
Co-op. We go further so you don't have to.
Make it Star Plan, make it quality. Buy this beautiful bedroom unit and get a second at half price. Like this, for just $249. That's half price. Or this fabulous unit, half price, just $290. And look at this, an amazing $119. That's half price. Star Plan, make it affordable because Star Plan make it.
So what would you choose? An anti-aging cream that works on lines and wrinkles? Or one designed to work on all 7 signs of aging?
Choose Total Effects from Olay, the UK's #1 moisturiser that fights 7 signs of aging.
Tricky, isn't it?
Total Effects from Olay. Love the skin you're in.
This Saturday night on UTV at 5:30.
What a show!
Harry Hill's TV Burp.
What a performer!
Act 6, The X Factor.
Who stays? Who goes?
You decide at 7:15 and the next Saturday night takeaway. At 8:25.
Let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
One act must go, but who is it? The X Factor results at 9:25.
Don't go anywhere.
That's this Saturday on UTV.
Well, hi there, what about you? Welcome to Friday Prime Time, and up ahead tonight, Darius Dinesh will be joining Jerry Kelly, and also on the programme, Mid-Euro will be talking about the 2004 version of Do They Know It's Christmas? The Kelly show's at 9 o'clock. Taking us up to that, Super Bitch Maya blows in to see Dev at the corner shop in Coronation Street. That's in half an hour. And then it's the Tonight programme at 8, after which the Corrie cast recall the scariest moments and indeed the spookiest characters on Nightmare on Coronation Street at 8:30. But now, it's Emmerdale.
I see Sam's giving free nibbles.
Ooh. Sam's giving free tipples.
Sam's got 3 nipples.
Heinz salad cream. It's all going on.
Decide which shoes to wear with my dress. What do you think?
Neither.
Oh.
Well, it's just my opinion. Look, go for whichever ones are the most uncomfortable. They're bound to look the best.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Have you got any I could borrow?
You're already having loan a car. What more do you want?
Oh, I promise to return them in one piece.
have you been stood there?
Oh, long enough.
Just putting me war paint on.
You look lovely. Who are you going to war with, anyway?
It's me appointment with the oncologist this morning. A girl likes to look her best for a doctor. He says he wants to talk to me about the chemo, but I think he fancies me.
Maybe I should come with you. Make sure he keeps his bedside manner to himself.
Sport.
Seriously, I don't mind.
There's no point in us both spending the morning reading out-of-date magazines in the waiting room.
There's no point you spending all morning fretting on your own. I'm coming.
Do I look like I'm fretting? It's just a doctor's appointment. No need for drama. It's a lovely offer, but I'm saying no.
Morning, Paul. Not dressed?
Still easing into the morning.
Not me. I like to attack the day.
I see.
Oh, thanks, by the way, for dinner last night. It was lovely.
Always a pleasure.
Are you all right?
Absolutely fine. Once the caffeine kicks in, I'll be positively sunny.
This business with Enzo not still bothering you?
Not in the slightest.
Glad to hear it. There's more to life than, well, boys.
You're about 30 years too late with that speech, Rodney.
I suppose so. But I'd have said the same back then.
I'm sure you would have. Right. Well, I better get some clothes on so I can face my public.
Right, the taxis will be here in a minute. We're just waiting for Sadie and then we can go. Do you want to give her a call and tell her to speed things up?
Not really.
Scared, are we?
Frankly, yeah. You're very efficient, but you need to know when to stop.
Go ahead.
Can I help you? You don't have an appointment.
Oh, it's all right. I asked him to come and see me. Come on through.
What's he want with him?
Don't ask me.
Right, I'm off to say goodbye to Chaz.
But we're nearly ready to go. I just said.
Well, if we're waiting for Sadie, it could be another hour. Anyway, I promise. I'll only be next door in the pub.
Fine. Just don't be longer than 15 minutes. That's when the taxis arrive.
All right. I'll run both ways.
Look, if it's about the plans for that double garage, they're nearly done. I've just been a bit preoccupied recently.
So I heard.
But like I say, it's almost sorted, so I can get back to work later today if you want.
There's no need.
Well, tomorrow then, yeah?
I say there's no need because I'm letting you go. I'm afraid you no longer work for King & Sons.
Since when?
Since I heard about you dishing out roadside beatings. If you think that's acceptable behaviour, I no longer think you're an acceptable employee.
Fine. Thanks for telling me.
You get a room.
Yeah, them two like an audience. Police record to prove it.
Oh, well, whatever lights your bonfire. I wonder what the regulars would say if you and me were putting on the same show.
In your dreams, eh?
Look, I need to go. I'm under strict instruction.